For those who probably noticed, I've been in the role of all exco roles in Toastmasters, actually each 2 times. So I know how you feel, whether you are a president, whether you are PPE, until SAA, I know how you feel. And we share somehow the same problems almost every year. And with or without you are being in the exco, I'm sure you noticed that we also have the same problem every year, which is recruiting and retaining members. Isn't that really hard? I find that actually quite hard too. That's why we need to learn this even every year too. And since this is the pandemic, I will try to modify the slides that has been provided by Toastmasters International. So there you go. I will share the screen. How to recruit and retain members. First of all, there will be a Mentimeter check. I will put it in the chat box. Okay, please go to the chat box and go to this Mentimeter. And let's answer the questions. Are you happy with your club's current situation? Yes or no? Okay. Yes, keep it coming, keep it coming. It's on the chat box, people. So yes, no, not sure. What are you talking about? Of course, I love my club. Only few, come on, we still have time for some more. No. Put it in the menti.com. I put it in the chat box. Okay, it's fine. Yeah. So no, yes, needs to improve. Yes, in most parts. That's my second home. Great. That means you're not homeless. Congratulations. Okay, so basically, most of you here at least say yes. So that's the good news. Now let's go to the second question. How do you feel when you attend your club meetings? This is the mentee again. Please answer it. How do you feel when you attend your club meetings? Give me adjectives. Confused, happy, nervous, boring, bored, not boring, empty. Oh, somebody actually messaged me, said, I feel so empty. Wow. Okay, amazing, nervous, great, bored. Okay. Okay. Unwilling before meeting. All right. So dull, yes. All right. So although some negative words are there, I think dominantly it's good, right? I can tell, yeah, I can tell most of them are positive, although a few negative here and there. And it's okay to be negative as long as you're honest. Yeah, we need to be honest about this because this is the reason why probably have a problem with membership. Okay, thank you for your participation. Now let's go back to my slide. The reason I ask you about this is because it's important to check. The general rule of thumb is if you feel it's positive, reduce it by 50%. That means this is probably what your guests feel. Okay, I'm feeling positive about my club. I'm happy. Well, probably because you know the people there. But for your guests, probably they know the people there. So your happiness level, your happy level, reduce it by 50%. That would be how you imagine your guests feel about the club. Now, if it's negative, if it's dull, if it's stressful, if it's so slow, or is it yada yada, if you're a guest, amplify it by 50%. So if you think it's boring, it will be a lot more boring for the guests because they have no reason to like this club. They don't have any emotional bond to this club. So if it's boring to you, you can imagine it's even twice as much boring for your guests. So if you feel unhappy with your club, there's a quote from Leo Tolstoy. All happy families are alike, but every unhappy family is unhappy in its own way. So is your club. Of course, we have very limited time here. We cannot address the problems that each club has in under District 87, right? But bottom line is every club has unique problems. The only similarity is all of them have a duty to fix the problems, okay? So if you're unhappy with your club, particularly if you're on the exco, in the exco, you need to talk about it with your club members or with your exco members at least. There's no way around it to solve this particular problem. If you yourself unhappy, then other people will be unhappy too, because unhappiness is just like happiness. They are contagious. But somehow, before we move on to the promotion and stuff, to the recruiting members and stuff, we need to realize that if our memberships dwindle, it's actually almost expected. It's actually very normal. Don't beat yourself too much over it. Why do you think there are 2 DCP goals every year to add 8 new members? 8 new members every year. Are you crazy? Those are international. They are not crazy. There's a reason to this. The reason to this is that people change. Their priorities change. Sometimes their personality change. Sometimes their circumstances change. Of course, we cannot expect everyone to stay in your club or in Toastmasters, right? Sometimes they get married, sometimes they have kids, sometimes they get a divorce, they move jobs, they lost jobs, they have double jobs, they move to different city, different country, they have 2 boyfriends or 2 girlfriends they have to share their time with. That's why no time for Toastmasters, for example. There are so many circumstances that human beings have. That's why it's normal if suddenly there's one person used to be very active, then all of a sudden no longer active, which is the reason why we need to add 8 new members, ideally every year, because on normal rate, there will be 8 people, or hopefully not 8, maybe 4 or 5, who will lose, at least in attention, if not in membership, right? And also there are people who have their own problems. For example, there are people who literally have time management skill, right? We thought like we're busier than this person, but we still know how to carve out time for Toastmasters. For some reason, there are people who cannot get their head around it. It's really hard for them to solve their time management issue. And as an outsider, it's really hard for us to even, help probably for this person, because their job is probably even worse than their record in Toastmasters. So if our membership dwindle, we no need to beat ourselves too much over it. But what we can do is, okay, try to recruit other people who probably can not replace, but replenish the motivation or the energy in our club. There are 3 things to remember about recruiting new members and also retaining them. If you're not happy, others won't be too, because unhappiness is contagious. So there's one person who usually become the sore thumb in the club. This person will rub on others. This is easy to notice, right? There's one person who is like doing this in the meeting. Just try. Maybe we need to do a social experiment someday in an online meeting, right? When others are smiling or being encouraging, there's one person who keep a sour face. Then some people will notice it, and then we wonder what happened with this person. Oh, it's not fun anymore because of this. Like there must be something wrong. Even though it's a little, it will affect the other members. That's why if there's unhappiness happening in the club, we need to address it right away before it rubs on other members. The next one is our club branding is like a piggy bank. Think of it like a piggy bank. We cannot build our club brand overnight, right? Suddenly posting one thing on social media about our club and suddenly, wow, our club looks really cool. It doesn't work that way. Unfortunately, we have to do this consistently so people notice that actually our club is really good and probably worth visiting or worth a chance for them to be a guest or to look at. For example, one of my clubs is Bineka Toastmasters Club. When I did my presentation about Toastmasters, I noticed several of my friends became a member right away. Blah, 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 they private chat me, sign me up, I want to register, save a spot for me, blah, 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 blah. I think probably by the end of my speech, 6 people registered at the same time through the chat box. And then one of my friends asked me, teach me how to do it. How did you do your presentation? How did you close the deal and blah, blah, blah. Actually, they joined Toastmasters not because of my speech, but because of what I post on social media. I post about Toastmasters almost consistently for the last 10 years. So my friends are familiar with Toastmasters brand on my social media. So what they need is just a little push. Hey, do you want to be a member? Right there. And suddenly, why did you ask just now? I've been always wanting to ask you, but no one asked me. Right? Something like that. So this is actually something that we need to build overnight. If you post negative stuff about the club, then imagine as taking away these coins from the piggy bank. So we will go back to maybe a few coins less than before. So this type of branding or promotion needs to be done consistently. And last but not least, I think this is probably one of the most efficient one, is what kind of people are in your club. So you need to give this impression. What kind of people are in your club? You need to attract the right crowd. I see a lot of members who become Toastmasters members because they want to get the certificate. Okay. We promote Toastmasters as an institution that can issue a certificate that is recognized in 145 countries. It can promote your career, can use it to blah, 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 scholarship, blah, blah, blah. Once they get it, they're gone, for example. I've seen a lot of cases like this because you attract the wrong crowd. They need from Toastmasters just a certificate, for example, and then after that, they're ready to leave. They're joining Toastmasters not because of the people, but because of the certificate, for example. This is something that we need to change. So if you brand your club as a club that is for people who are multitaskers, people who are productive, people who are smart, people who are cool, people who are kind, whatever it is, the brand that you create, then people will be attracted because of that. Okay, this is called being cool by association. So what type of, okay, this is this club. If you join this club, means you are productive people, for example. Then yes, this is so me. I want to join. Yes, I'm productive too, for example. Then there would be, probably will join. Or although when they don't find time, for example, to attend regularly, at least they feel it in their heart, okay, I'm part of the productive people called blah, blah, blah club, for example. So this is actually a really good reason to join a club. Now, this one is from Toastmasters, and I have a duty to deliver this to you. The standard promotion of your club must be done consistently. You can talk to your friends, relatives, co-workers, or at least tell the people how you feel about Toastmasters on social media. And I'm not talking about the social media of your club. This also you as the members. If you can, encourage your members to also post about it because it will pique people's interest. You post every 2 weeks, people start to notice, what is this thing? What is this thing? It looks really happy. Everyone looks smiling, for example, in this photo. So this will build the social brand that I talked about earlier. Second, members post about your club meetings before and after. Consistency is the key. So there's invitation posters, ask them to post it as well. And then after the meeting finish, you create poster, another poster, like reflection of poster, a kind of poster, and then also post it. Ask them to post it also on social media. Consistency is the key. Of course, in this digital era, creating social media is a must, but also make them active. I've seen a lot of clubs who have social media, but only posts once in 6 months, for example. Then it doesn't create any effect that way because it's not consistent. And probably this is something that I see most often. Sometimes the registration form is too long, or it's almost like turning and a turn off almost. Because in this digital era, especially during the pandemic, people join webinar almost daily. And they're so sick of filling out this form after form after form, getting this from the email. Like it or not, it will actually affect their psychology. So if there are people who probably find it lazy to fill in the registration form, fine. Actually, in my opinion, just give them the link. It's actually fine. Don't be a stickler, at least in the beginning, because you want them to actually come first to Toastmasters and let them taste it. Let them taste how the meetings go and how it makes them feel, for example. So if there are people who are too lazy to register, just forgive them. Okay. What's the goal is to get them to come, not to fill out the form. Because if they fill out the form, there's no guarantee that they will come anyway. So it's almost 50-50. The end goal is to get them to come to your meeting. So I usually don't mind send the link to the people that I think will join Toastmasters, and I don't really bother about registration form, although it's still necessary. The standard treatments of guests. We need to greet the guests and make them feel welcome. If you're not sure, you even need to assign someone to do this before, during, and after the meeting. Sometimes, okay, we rely on each other. Somebody probably speak to the guests already, right? I don't have to do it. But guess what? You guys rely on each other. We rely on each other. Then no one ended up talking to the guest at all. No one ended up inviting the person to come to the next meeting, for example. So if you are in the exco, assign one person to do this, to be the chatty person in the chat box if it's online meeting, right? When the guests come before the meeting, ask them to talk about how did you hear about this meeting, blah, blah, blah. I'm sure you know the drill. During the meeting, you can even private chat them on the chat box. By the way, I'm also from blah, 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 and then after the meeting, if they stick around, just chat a little bit, because it will give, you only have one chance to make a good first impression. And this is actually during the first time when they become guests in your club. If it's a three-dimensional meeting, someone sit with a guest during the meeting, don't let this guest sit by herself or himself in the corner and no one talks to this person. This is a big no. We need to have someone to chat with this guest and sometimes explain what is going on during a meeting. Although whispering, yeah, because we don't want it to be too loud. Ask for their contact and give them your contact. This is something that is usually overlooked because we thought, okay, I have their contact on the form somewhere on my Google Drive, but probably don't even look at it, right? So ask the person directly, hi, can I have your WhatsApp number? And also next meeting, send them your posters, invite them a little bit personally, maybe not just sending them poster, and also give them your contact so they save your contact. Okay. Ask them personally. I've seen this a lot. Sometimes you just need to add their name. Hello, Rizka. How are you? Toastmaster meeting, blah, blah, blah. Instead of just give them the registration link and then the poster and that's it. Because I'm sure you get a lot of these things a lot anyway, right? And we don't usually react to it at all. That's why we need to personalize these messages if we want to invite guests. Keep it personal. Always keep it personal, helpful, and friendly. Sometimes if you put it like in a generic invitation, just a poster, register, blah, 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 the way we usually broadcast it to them, if they have questions, they're even reluctant to do it because, oh, this is sent to everyone, not to me personally, right? Even though they have questions, sometimes they will not ask you because it doesn't feel like they have been addressed personally. So just like I said earlier, it's really important to put at least their name or just a little bit of line before all of these invitations and posters. Okay, don't rely on broadcast, talk to them personally. Last but not least, you only have one chance to make the first impression. And there's one quote from Homer: a guest never forgets the host who had treated him or her kindly. And I think by this, we can try to recruit more members for our club. Thank you. Yes, Astrid, let's go to Q&A.
Yes, everyone, if you have any question to distinguished Toastmaster Pipit, you can raise your hand or you can type in the chat room. Is there anyone who wants to ask question to DCM Pipit? Oh, someone already
yes,
give the question.
Since we are in Toastmasters, I would like the person to actually speak instead of type it up. So Andika from SCBD, please explain your question.
Hi, DTM Pipit. Thank you for the opportunity. When I asked a friend of mine or colleague of mine, sometimes I got too excited about, presenting our club, our meeting, and so on. And sometimes they get, their fear about what am I going into? So how do we attract that without getting so excited and oversell it?
Wow, actually, I'm usually excited and I tend to sound like oversell it myself. But I think the way I control myself is take turn talking. We take turn talking with our prospective members. Sometimes we're so excited, we're the only one talking. Oh, by the way, this is the website. Oh, by the way, this is our YouTube channel. Oh, by the way, did you know, blah, 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 blah. You actually minimize their time to respond back to you. So give a little bit, ask them to respond. After the person responds, give another one, ask to respond. So it will be two-way communication, right? And without us realizing it, it will serve as a break for us, as a break. So a break, B-R-A-K-E, break for us. So we don't sound so excited, but I like excited person. So being excited is fine. More likely it does you good than it does you bad anyway. So do not reduce your excitement. Does it answer it, or you're not happy with that, Dika?
Yes, it does. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay, now Ramasdin from JTC, please explain your answer. Oh, sorry, your question.
Yes, how if the guest come, he's interested and to become a member, but he feel inferior because his English is not as good as the people who present at that time. Thank you.
You know what I really like about Toastmaster is we come from many different backgrounds, right? I've never seen a club that has all of their members good speakers. Is it correct? I mean, is there anyone who belong to a club here with all of the members excellent speakers? I'm sure not. There must be maybe one or two at least who are still learning, right? You can use this person as the encouragement. You see, in our club, not everyone is a good speaker. Actually, a lot of them are still learning. For example, Toastmaster blah. For example, Toastmaster blah. You can even introduce this guest to them so they can share about how they feel, and it doesn't stop them from learning, right? And there's a really good quote from PQD and Agustinus, right? I'm not embarrassed. I'm not ashamed of my weakness. I'm ashamed if I don't do anything about it. So just encourage the person, show them that there are members who are still learning too, right? And also probably we can talk about our own growth, for example, that I used to be like that too. And I don't know if Purwanto is here, but I would like to take a liberty to ask to talk about him, because when I knew him the first time 8 years ago, he only wanted to be a timer, always a timer, maybe almost a year, because he only needed to say the same thing over and over again as a timer. Right. So this is, please mute Susan. Danny, Astrid, are you a co-host? Can you mute the sound just now? Thank you. Right. So give them a real story of how your members improve from zero to hero, I would say. Right. So can you think of someone in your club, Mr. Ramasdin, that, okay, this person is still learning? You can think of someone, right? Yes. You introduce this person to that guest who feel inferior. Okay? All right. Now, because the floor is open, if you have better ideas than me, I'm sure some of you do, please share it with us too. So if you have suggestions for Mr. Ramasdin, the floor is yours. Okay. Next question, maybe Astrid.
Still going to have the question in the chat room. So everyone, if you have any question.
Should we turn it into table topic session? Okay, let's talk about the mentee responses earlier. Yeah. Okay, now I see someone said exhausted when they attend club meetings. I share the sentiment. Can you put it in the chat box? 1, if you feel like you're the only one working in this exco, no one else does. Like, I do everything in this club, no one helps me. Or, can you put 1? I promise you, I will not see what the club is. Okay, only 1. All right, it's fine. Although, okay, someone direct check me. This is also a problem in a club, a burnout. They feel exhausted because they're the one making the agenda, they're the one preparing the Zoom, they're the one doing this, they're the one contacting, finding role takers, all of this. This is not sustainable, obviously. This is not sustainable. So, need to fix it right away. I don't even know. I was 1, but thank God current exco is super. Okay, so I will invite this person, Fabiola. Fabiola, can you share about what made your ESCOs change?
Hello, I'm Ola from Medco Toastmasters, and yes, we are a closed club, and we didn't pay our membership by ourselves. So that's the benefit, and also the, how you call that, I don't know, people feel that they don't pay anything, and they feel like I don't have any responsibility on this club. So I feel like there's so many people are need this club and want to be in this club, but they have no time because our meetings is also filled with another meetings in regard the job. So that's also our obstacles, problem. I don't know. There's so many people that we can approach as the member, but that's always become our problem, and that's, I still have no answer yet about how to make this problem solved, like make people interesting and leave the meeting and the job for a while and jump into this playground to have fun together and grow together with the Toastmasters, like I feel like I did.
But you said your current exco is super.
Yes, I was the exco earlier, and I was the VPE, and I think I work as also as a VP membership, SAA, etc., something like that. Because like the uh, the in charge people are too busy with the job. I can understand that, and but thank God, my current exco are super. I have Ira here, and I have hi Ira. I have who else?
Recognition is really good. So I'm really happy that you decided to give a shout out to your exco members. So after this, they will work double from usual. Just kidding. Of course, yeah, they already know. Congratulations for turning your exco to be more active. But like it, believe it or not, usually it's the corporate club who have the kind of problems. It's funny because they don't need to pay. In other clubs, the issue is usually because of finance, right? People out of work or get pay cut or kids go to school, something like that. Suddenly the budget is no longer there. But in the company pay for them, they just need to come, just invest their time. It's even harder than a community club. So yes, Azure Corporate Club is a unique situation. And until now, Toastmasters International is trying to solve the problem that the corporate clubs have. My guess is usually because there's no sense of belonging, right? There's no sense of belonging. This is not friends. This is not, okay, this is not friends. This is not family. So it's easy to leave a club, but it's not easy to leave your friends and family. So that's why probably that's the way we can retain members better than before. Yeah. Now, before the room close, I would like to address Pak Rasmadin. How to ask all members to be back to join Toastmasters? Ask. Sometimes because no one asks them, right? People think they forget about them. So just remind them that we have not forgotten about you, and we still want you to be back when you're ready. For example, just from time to time, give them a shout out. Okay. All right. So Asri, I think the room is about to close. Do you want to?
No. We still have 19 minutes.
Oh, really? I got a message.
They just remind you it already 30 minutes.
Oh.
We still have
So
19 minutes.
Until what?
Until 4:20.
Oh, well, this is overtime. All right, not overtime, undertime. Okay, Mr. Ramasdin, do you still have contact with your old members?
Yes, we have. Actually, in GTZ particularly, we don't have any problem getting new members. We will always have new members every month because maybe we have the good name, Jakarta Toastmasters, but the problem is to retain and also to make members to achieve their pathways, for example. It is the problem actually. Thank you.
So to achieve pathways, okay. But they have no problem paying, but their problem is just delivering projects, right?
Yes, okay. It means that we have more new members, but retaining is not good. So many our members leave Toastmasters and then they are back actually another time. But for new members, we have always many new members every month.
Oh, but then
the things that retaining is the problem actually. So do you have the solution for retaining?
Do you assign mentors to these new members?
Yeah, usually we have mentors for new members.
And it still doesn't work?
Yeah, doesn't work.
Oh, wow. Okay. Is there any ideas about, or any one of you experienced There are new members who just after pay, just gone.
Yes, I have that experience too.
Yes, oh, from Brunei speakers. You
Hi,
want to?
hello. Yes, I feel that there most certainly are. And I don't think we can do much about that because oftentimes when we meet someone new, we don't know them as a whole. We only have bits and pieces of what they're willing to show us. And sometimes people don't come into the club with the right intentions. Most times I feel that these people come in with the idea that I would like to be that kind of person, but they're not actually ready to put on the legwork to do it. So they pay however much they feel about whether they paid or not, whether they regret paying, but then they don't show up to do the next bit. Yeah, I don't think we can avoid these kinds of people. I think it will always be there. Yeah. Therefore, I think it's very important before they make the payment that they really come as guests for quite some time. Can they sustainably come as a guest first? Also, recently I came to know that apparently we have a Toastmasters rule that we can reject guests from becoming members. Like if we don't think that the guest that comes into our club is appropriate for the club can actually refuse this person's subscription. I didn't realize that was part of the rules until recently. But I do suspect that we cannot avoid this type of people. They have their ideals come in, but they are not actually ready to put the effort to be who they want to be. But maybe we could avoid their subscription to the club by making sure if they can come sustainably as guests first before making the membership payment.
Wow, May, I have one message for you. If you want to turn down a member, give it to my club. Okay, just that. I'm
Yeah.
not turning down a member, but if you plan to do that, don't turn the person away from Toastmasters, right? Just ask other clubs to take the person, because one person
Keep that in mind.
or yeah the club. Yeah, I agree, there are people who come with different intention, right? I have a friend, my high school friend, joining my club only want to have an English conversation club. So he was not interested in doing a project and downloading this evaluation form, making this speech draft, and then one time one of our my exco, one of our excos made a sort of an unintended mistake. So one of the excos contacted this person. Can you go to toastmaster.org and then do this, and this person just never to be seen again after that, because he felt like, okay, this was not what I was trying to look for. I just want to just join table topics, and I'm just happy even paying for $45 for 6 months, for example. If this is what they want, it's okay. We don't even have to push them, right? We still have, if we are looking for the DCP, we can count on other members probably, but it's mandatory or even more priority to actually retain these members, right? And I know there are people who have problems personally. They cannot even do their own job in their career properly. And then how can we expect them to be that productive and active in Toastmasters, for example? I know for sure I have friends who have terrible time management, even in their own private life. So of course I cannot put my standard of, okay, I can do this, why can't he? Or why can't she? We cannot do it like that. So just know our boundaries. If we cannot ask the person to deliver speech, don't push them. Just get them, encourage them to get the benefit from Toastmasters, although it's only in the form of table topic session, for example. I'm not big with the DCP, to be honest with you. I don't even know why I'm one of the speakers.
Thank you for sharing.
All right.
There's
So-
another question from Toastmaster Andika.
Please, Andika, explain your question?
Yes. So based on your experience, based on best practice, is there any prescribed numbers of number of members a club should have? Because I think the big clubs, it means that the opportunity to deliver their speech and project will be rare. But then small clubs, they will have a potential problem in operating the meetings and so on.
Yeah, actually, that's very interesting. I used to make a comparison between Toastmasters Club with a class size, actually, in any good schools. Good schools, usually the size of the class is small. Right? It probably has something to do with that because it's smaller and then you have stronger bond with each other, close, tight-knit, and things like that. However, in Toastmasters standard of practice, 20 is usually the standard, right? So yeah, let's say 10 people taking a role, another 10 delivering projects, right? And then take turns. The other 10, the other 10 who deliver projects taking meeting roles this time, and then another 10 can focus on the delivering projects. So they take turns. So my answer would be just like what Toastmasters said, 20. Yeah. But if you think that there's no disbenefit of getting 20 members. So I don't want to imply that it's good to have small members because they are more active. I will not imply that one. Yes. I saw someone is raising hand, Astrid.
Yes.
Anika, are you okay with that response?
Yes, thank you.
And from BTMC?
BTMC.
Yes, Toastmaster Pipit. Earlier, you mentioned that people often view us as an organization that provides certificate, and therefore they're being here for the wrong reason. They got the certificate and they just chow. Now, in order to prevent that from happening, it's better for us to create a cool atmosphere in our meetings so that people decided to stay for all the right reasons, right? Now, how do you suppose we go about being cool? Because I'm not a cool person by nature. As I am and have always been an introvert, I don't feel comfortable talking to people I barely know. And when I talk too much, I feel like I annoy the person I talk to. Maybe it's just me and my insecurities. Even talking here, right here and now, I'm making a superhuman effort to do so because talking in public makes me feel exposed. Now, so I have a problem being cool by myself, let alone creating an overall atmosphere that is somehow or somewhat cool. So how do you suggest we go about it? Is there a surefire tips to be cool? Is there a formula of being cool? I appreciate if you could share your opinion. Thanks.
If I have the formula to being cool, I will be a millionaire by now. But just to answer that, I think your name is cool. Let's start with that. TED. I like TED Talk. It's one of the biggest public speaking platforms in the world. But to tell you the truth, a lot of public speakers are situational introvert. Situational introvert. They are introvert, actually, but when needed, they can talk in front of public, like what you just did. So although someone is introvert, it doesn't prevent the person to be cool, right? Cool. So it's up to you. I mean, what is cool to you? Cool to me is the person productive, make use of their time properly when others are maybe watching K-drama or something, then this person choose to read something, or when others are taking a nap in the afternoon, but this person is going to Toastmasters meeting, make every day productive. For me, that is cool. So talk to your clubs and what kind of persona you want to create as a club. This is a club for people who are what, right? And that will attract the same type of crowd. So what is cool to you, Mr. Ted?
I honestly wouldn't know that. That's why I'm hoping to get some insight.
Who is your idol? Who is your idol?
My idol in coolness or in what?
In general, who is your idol?
I don't know. I believe people like Bill Gates or Bezos before he decided to go on the rocket trip. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So what's your favorite animal?
My favorite one?
Animal.
Dogs, I guess,
Why?
because they're fluffy and cute and cuddly and anything I'm not.
Oh, really? Usually in the psychology, they ask, what's your favorite dog? Or what's your favorite animal? That is the type of person you want to be. So if you're fluffy, you like dog because fluffy, cuddly, it's cute, you want to be fluffy, cuddly, and cute. This is just psychology, yeah, they say, yeah. So it's probably that is what cool to you. So maybe if we translate it in Toastmaster setting, that would be a friendly person, right? Friendly, loyal, and so I think probably that's the kind of cool that you are. I think I agree. All right, so how much time do you have?
6 minutes.
6 minutes. All right. The room will
One person raised hand. One person
from
raised
Metropolitan.
hand. Yeah.
Metropolitan. During the one click away. Okay, continue. Do you think we should not encourage them? They want to visit other clubs. Actually, be honest. It's okay to visit other clubs. They will find out anyway. Not from you. So it's better to be honest since the beginning. By the way, one of the reasons why people join Toastmasters is because of the vast networking, 65,000 clubs from all around the world, right? Don't hide this information from them. Of course, they can join other clubs. So we have to be confident with our club's quality. Yeah, don't refrain them from, don't tell them no not to join other clubs. And then there was one really good suggestion: do a reunion if you want to attract old members, right? So maybe during an anniversary of your club, invite all of past members in the last 10 years. Maybe some of them still have the contacts. This can be a good opportunity for them to relive the past and probably decide to join again. Yes, I will give the control to Astri. It's up to you whether you want to take another question or, yeah.
I think one more. Okay.
Yes, so maybe now Falia.
Yes, thank you so much, Toastmaster Pipit. So I actually have two questions. The first one is, we have this case that we have one member who have already renewed their membership for about 2 periods for a year, but she never show up even though we have approached her to take roles or give a speech. How to prevent this happening in the future? And the second one is, when is the best time to ask guests to become a member in this online settings? Because previously in offline settings, probably the best times is like 3 times at 3 meetings. But what about in online settings? Thank you.
Okay, in asking them to be the members, I would say even after the first meeting, it's fine to do that. As long as you talk to the person personally, right? Asking for their WhatsApp number and then WhatsApp the person personally or even make a call, right? So it's okay to do that. Don't wait until 2 times or 3 times. There are people who are very receptive to new ideas, and I suggest you to just take the chance. And about members who keep on paying but never show up, my suggestion is be grateful. Be grateful because they still have a sense of loyalty to the club. That's why they keep paying, although probably they don't have time to do that. Probably they even live in different city or different time zone. In 1975, for example, they live in the past, but then it's okay. It's okay. You just feel grateful that they still add the membership number at least for your club. I have been that kind of member at least 1 year in my club. So I really had no time, but I will still feel loyalty to my club. That's why I don't want to abandon it. So I keep paying, but never show up. When the time is right, when the chance is there, I'm pretty sure the person will just come by itself without us keep urging and urging.
Okay, but the thing is, I think she will postpone her membership.
Sorry?
This time. I think the person is going to postpone her membership this time.
Oh, okay. So, if that's the case, then talk to the person. Talk to the person. What is the problem? Because just like what I said earlier, every unhappy family is unhappy in their own way, just like a person. There is a person why feel unhappy with their club, with so many different reasons, right? So just find out, right?
Thank you so
Okay.
much.
Yes.
Thank you, distinguished Toastmaster Pipin. You might want to wrap up your session.
Yes, thank you so much for your participation. I'm really happy because a lot of you are active. I was a bit nervous because my presentation was kind of short, but I'm sure from this session right here, at least we can help each other to try our best to retain and recruit members. During the pandemic, this is the best time for you. Call your friends who live in Papua, who live in Kalimantan, who live in Sulawesi, who lives in Bintulu, far away from the cities. This is a good chance to recruit them. Good luck.
Okay, thank you so much, distinguished Toastmaster Pipit, for the wonderful session. Also, thank you so much for all the participants. Now we will have 30 seconds to going back to the main room. So please come to the main room and see the others. Thank you so much.
See you in the main room.
See you.